Hello, my name is Annabel Jenkins, and this is my presentation on vegetarian diet effects on neonate weight. The objectives for this presentation are as follows. First, background information and definitions for all of the terms that are involved in this topic. Next are potential differences between the birth weights of neonates depending on their mother's diets. These diets will consist of either vegan, vegetarian, or non-vegetarian diets. Next, we'll discuss the prevalence of low birth weights of neonates who are born to vegan and vegetarian women. Next, we will determine whether or not a vegan and/or vegetarian diet is safe during pregnancy, and if there are different steps that mothers can take to prevent deficiencies that can affect birth weights. Lastly will be a summary of the findings and a conclusion. For background information, a vegetarian is someone who does not consume meat. There are many variations to this diet, such as lacto-vegetarian, ovo-vegetarian, lacto-ovo-vegetarian, pescatarian, and many more. Another variation is a vegan. This is someone who does not consume meat or animal products. So similar to a vegetarian, when they don't consume meat, but they also do not consume animal products. A neonate is a newborn child. They must be under 4 weeks old. A low birth weight is categorized as less than 2,500 grams. Low birth weights can lead to other issues and complications that arise due to low birth weights, such as infections, developmental issues, and adverse effects that can affect them for the rest of their lives. Low birth weights are very much impacted by the diet and the behaviors of the mother. Behaviors such as smoking, drinking, but also diet. Here are some factors that may affect birth weight. These are levels for pregnant women if they have certain levels of vitamin 12, homocysteine, and MMA levels. And also, it was found that the BMI for women before pregnancy was lower for vegetarians than that of non-vegetarians. So that may play a role in lower birth weights because the mother had a lower weight, which is reflected in the pre-pregnancy BMI. Another factor is a reduced gestational weight gain. So this is similar to the last point where they are not gaining as much weight during pregnancy, and that may affect the birth weight of their child. A lower protein and zinc intake is also something that can affect birth weight, and it is lower levels found in vegetarians when compared to non-vegetarians. Preterm delivery might also affect birth weight, and it was found in a study from Denmark that a low consumption of seafood is related to a substantial risk of low birth weight and preterm delivery, which means that a low plasma concentration of EPA and DHA during pregnancy may lead to low birth weight and preterm delivery. Differences in birth weights. It's very controversial whether different studies determine that birth weights can be affected by a vegetarian or vegan diet. One study found that vitamin B12 levels were associated with low birth weights when measured in the first and second trimesters. This was from a meta-analysis in Norway. In contrast, another study found that B12, homocysteine, and MMA levels of mothers did not convey a correlation with birth weight or gestational age when measured postpartum. So there is a difference in these two studies where this one is dealing with postpartum levels and the other one was first and second trimesters. It was found that a vegetarian diet was associated with smaller neonatal size and that it was not associated with morbidities or other negative maternal outcomes. And those 2 points were found in the same study. A quote from a third study states, "Vegetarian diets during pregnancy exerted no substantial effect on birth weight." So different findings do have different conclusions, but the majority of findings found that there is not a direct or significant effect of a vegetarian diet on birth weight. So the prevalence of low neonate weights is as follows. There was insignificant difference between the birth weights of vegan, vegetarian, and non-vegetarian neonates, as conveyed in the chart below. This shows the mean weight of the infants born to women adhering to different diet groups. As you can see, the vegan mothers had neonates that had a higher birth weight than vegetarian and non-vegetarian mothers. A maternal vegan diet is associated with lower birth weight than non-vegetarians, is what another study found. And there is also a list of mean birth weight centiles for vegan and non-vegetarian neonates. So the big question is as follows. Is it safe for women to adhere to vegetarian or vegan diets while pregnant, or should women who are pregnant stick to omnivorous diets? A quote from one article states, "Balanced maternal nutrition during pregnancy is imperative for the mother's health status and consequently for offspring, and is crucial to maintain an adequate environment for optimal fetal development." This is very true for any mother that is carrying a child or is preparing to carry a child, or even after they've carried a child, because they want their child to be as healthy as possible. So they must create an environment inside themselves through diet that is healthful for the child. Consumption of important nutrients like protein, B12, zinc, iron, just to name a few, need to be planned very well so that if done correctly, there are no differences in birth weight for vegan versus non-vegetarian women. So as long as the diet is planned out well and everything runs smoothly, there should be no difference in birth weight when compared to non-vegetarian mothers. This quote states that the vegetarian type pattern should be considered safe and it is not associated with preterm birth, birth weight, or smaller than gestational age if the requirements are met. So this is reiterating what I had said, that if there is like a safe pattern followed for a vegetarian diet, and all requirements are met for different nutrition status, there should be no concern when it comes to anything affecting the child. Now we come to the summary. It's clear that there are many concerns when it comes to the nutritional status of pregnant women, regardless of their diet. So that goes for any woman who is pregnant with a child or wants to get pregnant with a child. It is of much concern because the requirements for majority of nutrients increases so that they can support the life of their child. Vegetarian and vegan women may not be consuming enough nutrients needed for pregnancy because deficiencies can be commonly found among them. This can be due to inhibitory factors in their diet and low bioavailability when it comes to certain nutrients. I think it is safe to say that there is not enough research done on the impact of these diets on birth weight for neonates. I think it's definitely something that should be pushed because it is very important with the increasing amount of women who are adhering to vegan and vegetarian diets. In conclusion, I think that this data from all these different sources comes to the conclusion that there is not a direct link to maternal, vegetarian, or vegan diets and low birth weights among neonates. I think there are a lot of factors that may play a role in low birth weights among neonates, but I do not think that a vegetarian or vegan diet of the mother has a significant amount of impact. And that is the conclusion. Thank you so much.